Can you start the Chiefs passing game today? What about the Washington football team running game? We'll tell you right now on Fantasy Football Today in 5. We are getting you ready for your semifinal matchup here in Fantasy Week 16. Adam and Heath on this Sunday morning. Hope everybody had a great holiday. Well, it's continuing, so continue to have great holidays here. Let's start with the Chiefs passing game. Tyreek Hill is back. Travis Kelsey, maybe. It is a late slate, part of the later slate, 4:35, I believe, 4:25. What do you think about Mahomes and Kelsey?
Yeah, I mean, we had left Mahomes in the top 12 without Hill and Kelsey, so just getting Hill back makes you feel better about starting him. As we saw with Kyler Murray last night, there's no sure things at the quarterback position this year, but Mahomes is someone you're just going to start and hope he can give you a top 5 performance. Hill's in, he's in your lineup. If Kelsey's in, he's in your lineup.
All right, Antonio Gibson. I hope we find something out before 1 o'clock, but how are we looking at this backfield right now? What if Gibson's out, I guess? How much faith would you have in Jared Patterson?
Not a lot. He would be a high-end flex, maybe a low-end number 2 type running back. I'm just not confident that he would get all of the work that Gibson has recently, and I'm not confident that he's as good as Gibson. So I really think the only way you can wait on either of these guys is if you have maybe like a Duke Johnson or a Mark Ingram as a backup plan on Monday night. Other than that, I think Gibson looks like a game time decision right now, which means you really can't trust him or Patterson with this being a late Sunday game.
We've got 3 players at least, 3 important players out for the Chargers on the COVID list. Justin Jackson will start because Austin Eckler is out, and Mike Williams and Jalen Guyton are both out for this game. So what does that mean for you for Justin Jackson and Josh Kelly? There was a report that Jackson was going to kind of shoulder the load. So first of all, where are you ranking him?
I right now, and I'm kind of going back and forth on this because I do think it will be a split. Even maybe I projected a little bit too much of a split. I had Jackson as a borderline number 2 and Kelly as a fine flex. I'm bumping Jackson up this morning with reports that he's going to be the clear lead back to where he's closer to maybe 15 to 18 touches instead of 12 to 15, which will put him in the top 20 range, but not in the top 12 range for Jackson.
Okay, and then any interest in, Jared Cook? You got no Donna Parham, you got no Mike Williams, you got no Jalen Guyton. We saw Josh Palmer was very good 2 weeks ago when Keenan Allen didn't play. So any interest in someone else in this passing game? And no Eckler is a big deal too, obviously.
Right. I think Jackson, that's the one thing that makes me feel better about Jackson. I think he can do a lot of the things that Eckler does in the passing game. Not as well, but he should take over most of those targets. Josh Palmer is probably the guy who I have the most interest in. It's in kind of that Tyler Johnson range. We're going to see Johnson get more opportunity without Chris Godwin or Mike Evans as the number 2 behind Antonio Brown. I think Antonio Brown and Keenan Allen, those 2 offenses will dominate targets, but the secondary guy does have a chance to be a good flex. So Palmer behind Tyler Johnson, but not far from him.
Damien Harris will get a feature role with Ramondre Stevenson out. Would you rather start Damien Harris or Justin Jackson?
Definitely Damien Harris in non-PPR. It's much closer in PPR, but I think I'd still go Harris.
Adam Thielen expected to play against the Rams. Starter sit.
He's a middling number 2 wide receiver. You're probably not going to have 3 better options if you're in a 3 wide receiver league. If you're in a 2 wide receiver league, it's really, really dicey. I'd put him in right around 20 or 24.
Thielen or Metcalf?
I would go Thielen.
Nick Foles is going to start for Chicago. Starter sit. David Montgomery. Does it change anything for David Montgomery?
It doesn't really change much for David Montgomery. I think that Foles, while he's bad, will still get the ball out quick. I think there will still be plenty of targets for the tight ends and the running backs. And they'll probably have more pass attempts with Foles at quarterback than they would have with Fields.
Josh Johnson for Baltimore. Starter sit Marquise Brown.
I would like to get away from Marquise Brown if I can. I would definitely start DK Metcalf and Adam Thielen over him.
Still starting Mark Andrews, right?
You don't have any choice. He's a tight end.
Okay. Let's see some questions in the chat. Thielen or McLaurin?
I would go with Thielen there.
Tell me I didn't mess up by going with Ronald Jones over Antonio Brown on the waiver wire.
I don't know. I would have prioritized Antonio Brown, but I think it's close enough that we won't know if you messed up until after the game's over.
Josh Allen or Matthew Stafford, 4 point per passing touchdown.
I am still going Josh Allen.
Josh Johnson or Ben Roethlisberger?
Big Ben.
And Josh Palmer or Amon-Ra St. Brown? Good question.
I'm going to stick with ARSB.
Antonio Brown or Stephon Diggs?
Wow. Like, these guys are both in my top 11, so I don't really want to tell you to sit either one, but I would start Antonio Brown over Stephon Diggs.
Last one, Javante Williams or Saquon Barkley?
I am probably the only person on the podcast who says this, so I'll just put that disclaimer on it. But I would go in full PPR. I would definitely go Saquon over Javante. I would actually go Saquon over Javante in non-PPR as well.
Oh, wow. Okay, definitely.
We've had this talk, like we've talked all week as if, man, Javante is going to be a great start against the Raiders. Melvin's got a good start as well because it's the Raiders. We've also talked all year about how the Broncos don't run the ball very well in games they lose, and they're underdogs in this game.
I guess it's going to be up to Drew Lock to just not lose, but I don't know why. I don't know. It should be competitive at the very least.
I mean, I think they're both 500 teams, right? And the game's at the Raiders.
Sure. I think you look at, they're both 500 teams. The Raiders have been terrible since Ruggs and Waller have been out, and they're having their late season fall again. But you do have the Drew Lock factor. All right. Thanks for watching. That is Heath. I am Adam. Have a great day, everybody. Good luck. We'll talk to you right here, youtube.com/fantasyfootball today at about 8:05, hopefully tonight. Let's go get